As protesters across Kentucky demand change in policing, people want to know how elected leaders would help make that happen.
The top 3 Democrats running for U.S. Senate debated last night, and they were asked to explain their plans to help move our communities forward. LEX 18's political reporter Carolina Buchek has the story.
Hands up, don't shoot! Hands up, don't shoot!
Last night, as protesters took over the streets of Lexington and Louisville,
I can't breathe! I can't breathe!
the 3 major Democrats in the race for U.S. Senate took on each other in a debate, and a big portion of the night was spent on the events unfolding in Kentucky right now.
Protests have erupted.
Charles Booker, a state representative from Louisville, arrived straight from the protest in Louisville. On Sunday, he says he was tear-gassed by police, and on Monday, he stood at the site where restaurant owner David McAtee was killed.
Barely made it today because I left the streets where so many Kentuckians are demanding justice.
Amy McGrath, who some consider the front runner, and Mike Breuer, the Marine who is now a farmer, were both asked if they've been to any of the protests across the state, and both answered no.
We're in the middle of a pandemic, so we also have to look at, is that the place to be right now?
And the other hard and fast rule we have is we don't use people as props. And I thought about it and I said, if I went to Louisville or Lexington, it would have appeared opportunistic.
The candidates were challenged on issues of systemic racism, police brutality, and the way to fix it. Booker, the only major candidate who is black, pressed for change. He says he understands the frustration people are feeling right now because he's experienced it himself.
That's my story. I live that. I've been in those streets demanding justice after my cousins were murdered the last 4 years. This isn't a tweet for me. It isn't aspirational to just say we need to listen and do more. We need results right now. And it means we have to acknowledge the challenges that are levied within our institutions that see someone that looks like me, that doesn't come from a lot, as a deadly weapon before a human being.
Booker said to break the systemic racism in law enforcement, he wants laws to get rid of no-knock warrants, which Louisville police used when Breonna Taylor was killed. He also wants a citizen review board with subpoena power. McGrath, who spent a big part of her life in the military, thinks there needs to be a better command climate for officers.
In the military, when you have a unit, everybody that is under you is a reflection of the leader, okay? And their actions are a reflection of that leadership. And so in the case of George Floyd in Minneapolis and his really tragic and unfortunate death, you not only had a bad cop doing terrible things, but you had 3 other cops looking on doing nothing.
McGrath believes that a command climate would demand accountability and allow independent investigations when an officer kills a citizen. Breuer thinks the way forward starts with demilitarizing the police.
We can start the process by stopping selling military equipment to police forces. I mean, there's no reason that a municipal police department or county police department needs to have armored vehicles. It sets the wrong mindset in the police. The police think they're at war. War, you need an enemy, and the enemy, sadly, too many times are African Americans.
Breuer also called for criminal justice reform, saying we need to stop arresting so many people. And on June 23rd, voters will pick the person they want to go up against Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. In Lexington, Carolina Buchek, LEX 18 News.